Yo, let's get it. Yo, let's go, let's get it. Live from the mic with the vibes explicit. Hosted by Buddy, the legend in the game. Laughter, stories, you'll never be the same. Yeah, Buddy, it's that podcast flair where the stars align and we venture to share. Yeah. Step into the studio, lights shining bright. Buddy Rahming's got the crew and the vibes just right. From comedians to actors, models and more. Entertainment biz, we're ready to explore. Chilling with legends, having heart-to-heart chats. Discussing personal journeys, no tips or hacks. With laughs that echo and stories that amaze. Every episode's a treat, let the conversation blaze. Yeah, buddy, welcome to the show.
Yes. What's going on, world? This is your man, Buddy Rahming, and we are back at it, y'all, with another episode of the Yeah Buddy podcast. So if this is your first time tuning in, we got a great episode for y'all. Y'all know how we do every episode. I try to bring some of my friends in the entertainment business, whether it's an actor, filmmaker, comedian. We sit down, chop it up, see what we got going on in our respective journey in the entertainment world. So if you're a returning friend, we got a dope episode lined up for y'all today. We got my good friend in here. He is a member of the DGA, that is the Directors Guild of America, and he is a producer. He's here to talk about his new production he has going off, 50/50 Ball. We want to try to make it live and make it live for my good friend, Mr. Lamar Stewart, in the building, y'all.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
No, man, thank you, man. Thank you for joining up to the podcast, man. Me and you had met about a month ago doing it was like a commercial production assistant shoot. We signed NDA, so we're not going to go into detail about what that was, but just yeah, but no, just being able to sit down and talk to you for a little while. You was talking about a really cool production that you had going on. So I didn't want to waste any time as far as like the podcast interview. We want to dive right into this because I always love hearing about people in the production business just kind of taking their careers in their own hands and creating their own productions. So give people the spill about this production you have going on. It's called 50/50 Ball.
Well, thank you very much. And guys, 50/50 Ball is the first production through Oakland-set Entertainment, LLC. 50/50 Ball is the story of Alex Morales, who's lost everything through both injury and addiction. And she comes back home to Oakland to kind of lay low, hoping that her agent will get her back to her European play. But while at home, she is bombarded by questions and asks from her family, her niece Maya, and then her former coach who falls through some injury and sickness. So she basically picks up the whistle to teach and to train her alma mater, which is Bella Vista Tech High School, located in the Bella Vista district of Oakland. Our imaginary school will be pretty much the centerpiece and the educational hub for our team and our Lady Vanguards. This is a 10 episode prestige drama, sports drama, and Ocean Entertainment is looking diligently to bring this story to the city of Oakland, to where we can at least be a part of that creative hub that's now forming in the city.
Yeah. And what made you want this to be a web series as opposed to go like a feature film route?
Well, you know what? Oakland has so many stories and is such a character by itself, is that we wanted to be able to use the city of Oakland as a character in the series and to be able to put our platform on a global stage, along with Atlanta, with Austin, with New Mexico. We have the talent and the capability to be an equal hub within that formation of TV series and production.
Yeah, I'm glad you got to spoke to that because I did go on to, I believe it was either IMDb or the Seed&Spark page, seeing a couple of the people that you have working on it, on your the production, like the producers, mess up a couple of them. I know you had like Ted Leonard and a couple of those people. It all seems like they're all like, if you know these people, they're all familiar faces that you see in and out throughout the Bay Area. I think one of the actors or one of the producers you had even worked together, like going back all the way to Fruitvale Station.
So we have Lisa Cohen, which is also an actress, a stunt performer, and she's one of our producers on 50/50 Ball. Lisa and I worked together on Fruitvale Station, along with many other films that were shot here in the Bay Area many moons before pandemic hit. So we also have DGA director Ted Leonard, who, along with Debbie Brubaker, cinematographer Steve Condiotti, and our production designer Susie Allegre, who also production designed Fruitvale Station, I Am Virgo, all these other iconic shows that were filmed here in the Bay Area.
So what was the process like going from just 50/50 ball being an idea in your head to now you're reaching out to these collaborators and people that you worked with before, these different film sets? What was the process like for you now reaching out to them?
It started off with the Black All-Star Film Festival that was at the Oakland Grand Lake Theater last year. And
for the All-Star game.
That is correct.
I was there. Yeah, because the Black Film Connect that threw that on. Yeah.
That is correct. So one of our dynamic writers, Tajiana Okaftubu, was also the moderator on a panel that myself and my co-producer Ted Leonard were involved in. The question was Oakland ready for prime time? And at that time, it was ready to explode, but not so much at that point. And we came up with the ideal of 50/50 ball because of that particular question. And Ted's response was that if Oakland was able to have a series, given 4 to 6 seasons, then yes, Oakland would be definitely ready and grounded for prime time. After that event, he and I got together and we started reminiscing about past basketball shows on television. And then the ideal of bringing a series like that to Oakland, particularly a girls basketball team, because of the highlight of the WNBA and the dynamic, successful run of the Golden State Valkyries, we felt that kind of dynamic and that kind of entertainment was prominent to bring a show like that to the Bay Area. Oakland has always been a sports town. We've always had sports leaders. And so we'd love to thrive and to piggyback off of that environment. So to add on to that, I reached out to a couple of writers, Tessie McCoy, Tajiana, Dave Philpott, and we got together and I gave them the ideal and the foundation, and they ran with that with our pilot episode, which is 50/50 Ball, titled Baseline. That's where we introduce Alex Morales, the Morales family, the Oakland as a character, the Bella Vista Lady Valkyries. It just all started to morph together.
That's awesome. That's one thing that I do notice because I live out here in Sacramento, but in the Bay Area, just being on these film sets, or not, it doesn't have to be like big budget ones, just, working within the community, you definitely get a sense of collaboration, and people, I guess you say, could put their ego to the side for the bigger purpose of just making the project. Because like I said, when I went out to the Seed&Spark page and saw all the names, and even Taji, because Taji's been on the podcast, and Taji's making really, really great strides in the film community. He's going to do a lot of great things this year. So it's so great to see people kind of understand their roles and how they could excel at that, to just push the community forward, to turn it from a community into like a industry, like our own self-thriving industry.
Well, that's what I found, is that, you can be a lone wolf, so to speak, in this industry and pick and choose, but then you really you won't garner the support and the experience and the talent from being a lone wolf. Oakland, the Bay Area, we have talent. It just needs to be directed in a positive and presentable manner. Um, these three writers taught me that you could do almost anything, especially when you have the support of the community and the love of the community.
And so we do have, I don't know if anybody's watching, but we do got the QR code popped up right there. So if anybody wants to find out, we'll keep it up throughout the whole entire episode. But if anybody wants to support 50/50 Ball, the QR code will take you to the Seed&Spark page to show you how you can support it. Like I said, just a simple follow of their page goes a long ways for us filmmakers and us support people. So can you kind of tell people what they could see on the Seed&Spark page when they click on the QR code?
So if by clicking on this QR code, first off, our page goes live on April 20th. And once we have 174 followers so far, but once we get the 350 that's needed, our page goes nationally. So we're excited about that. And once you go onto the page, you click a follow, make sure that you respond and verify through the email that Seed&Spark will send back at you. And on that page, you have so many incentives for pledging for a certain amount of dollars to help us get to our goal to film our proof of concept page, which we would love to shoot in the early spring of 2026. We have 7 tiers of incentives, all the way from just an acknowledgement in the credits to executive producership. Then we have a number of updates that I push out every 2 weeks, Thursdays and Fridays, which talks about the soul of the city, its musical landscape and soundtrack, the fictional world that we're building in the East Oakland area, specifically the Bella Vista district. It tells you about how you can share the link through either social media, through your personal contacts, and or through your text messaging. I actually have some preformed dialogue that you can click, cut and paste, and put into it, and make it your own as an invite into the platform. 50/50 Ball is literally a community project. Literally, everyone that I've heard from, everyone that I've spoken with, is very excited. Not only because of the popularity of women's and girls basketball, but the fact that we're actually building a show, making Oakland a character in this show to showcase how we live, where we live, and how we play the game.
And then I was going to make a point, but before I do that, you had mentioned something. You said something about shooting a proof of concept. For people who are watching who don't really understand what that means, a proof of concept, can you kind of explain to people what that is?
So a proof of concept shoot or a proof of concept package is basically the media process of what your show can look like. Besides all the necessary paperwork that goes into a production packet, the proof of concept is it gives those investors a visual ideal of what the show can and will look like once it gets funded to be on the bigger platform.
Okay,
so
perfect.
Anywhere
And then
between any proof of concept can be anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes, 4 to 7 pages.
Okay, cool. And then the other thing that I was saying was how you talk about using this as the backdrop to, like, it's a community project. One thing, because like with me being like on the Street Actors Guild, one thing that we always talk about is, well, the reason why there's like such little work up here for us actors is because there's like a huge discrepancy as far as like age gaps. There's not too many younger workers, 18 to play younger. Like when people look at when the Bay Area was really thriving, like a lot of films going on and stuff like that, it was around the same time that we had 13 Reasons Why going on. It's because they kind of had like a big old incubator for younger actors to kind of grow within the business and the industry and now they can go off and do all these other things. And that's kind of like a similar thing that you have with the 50-50 ball, where one, it's community driven. It takes place, like you say, in the high school setting. So you're going to need those younger actors to fill out the thing. So a lot of those things that happen with Almost 30 from like the business side of things that was able to help us flourish in the film industry. You're kind of doing those things right now with the 50-50 ball. So that was just something that kind of popped into my head.
Yeah, well, it kind of goes hand in hand. Like there are organizations that I've worked with in other productions, such as the Hidden Genius Project. And then there are other social activistic communities that thrive within the city of Oakland. And I love to be able to tell that story and utilize some of that talent, like within the Hidden Genius Project. And then other teenage and young adult organizations that lean toward entertainment.
Mm. And then, so as far as with the process with the 50-50 ball, do you have actors already set in mind to play like the lead or the supporting roles, or is that something that's going to come as you get closer to like the proof of concept? Building that.
Well, we're actively looking for our talent to lead the proof of concept. However, and once we find that that Alex Morales character or that that Coach Johnson character, we'll definitely be able to utilize that momentum in looking for the series talent. We do have people that are part of the process, such as Fatima A. She is the founder for the Premier Women's Basketball League. She has introduced some of her players to be some of our antagonists, protagonists, rival ball players. Not too many lines, but definitely the skill set that it takes to make this show believable.
And is this your first time? I don't know if you have said it already, but is this your first time producing a production, like, or at least taking on this much of the responsibility on the production side?
This is definitely a sophomore job for me at this point. Yes, I have produced other smaller projects, but this is of a much more grander scale, which is why I've brought in those individuals that I've worked with or worked alongside of that have much more experience than me, to where I can be able to soak all that knowledge in and then pass it on to those underneath.
Because I want to ask that, because I kind of want to get segue into kind of like how you got started just into film in general, and how that the things that you've been doing kind of prepared you to say, okay, I'm ready to take on something of this magnitude.
Well, let's start as I PA'd. I started late in this industry. I was in my mid-40s. I became a PA through Solano Community College. I went back to school. I studied film and television, public speaking. And while I was there, a good friend of mine, Jamie Gaines, who was a camera operator now here in the Bay Area, referred me to a television show in the city I lived in at the time, which was Vallejo. And I got on that show, and I never looked back. From there, I went into commercials. I got on the production cube. Production cube is pretty simple. You roll in the morning, you pull off those tables and start getting those walkies set up, and use your pop-up and build a video village. It was just a simple, straightforward means segue into this industry. Once I was able to learn the dialogue, the tricks of the trade, and what's expected of you, then other doors opened up for me, where I became a member of the Directors Guild. And the show that got me there was a feature film with Rob Lowe called Knife Fight, Rob Lowe and Jamie Chung. That crossed me over into the DGA through the help of my director, my first AD, and my unit production manager at that time. Car commercials and commercials in general were pretty much bread and butter for pretty much everyone in the industry. So when I signed up for the Directors Guild, I got into that category, which was commercials. But over the years, things have slowed down and waned. My first big first AD job was in Los Angeles on a spaghetti western type horror thriller called Death Rider in the House of Vampires, directed by rock icon Glenn Danzig, starring Devon Sawa and the late Julian Sands. But those doors and that opportunity helped me to understand talent, helped me to understand the business side. And when COVID hit and a lot of corporate jobs popped up, I jumped into corporate work to where we were on volume stages, dealing with the Stipe systems and the VR systems. I learned that dialogue and I learned that experience. Phone calls started getting a little slower as the industry started to back off and move to other places. And it was time for me to put on my big boy pants and make work for myself. And in doing so, and during that time down, I put together 50-50 Ball. 50-50 Ball is basically a homage to the working man here in Oakland, the filmmaker here in the Bay Area, giving us all a sense of breath to try to reestablish ourselves in the community.
So I want to congratulate you for being part of the DGA. Just being a part of any sort of guild in this business, in this industry, is such a hard feat to kind of go through. I know, like being SAG after, we got to either get the Taft Hartleys or you got to get that one role that gets you the speaking lines. What's the process like for you becoming the DGA? Is that like, I guess, a similar process for anybody that wants to go from being a PA to a member of the DGA?
Well, no, it's not really a similar process. As I was brought up, there was an X amount of days qualified days that you have to bring to the table. We lived in the Bay Area, so that type of work power didn't come all the time as if we were in LA or Southern Cal. So it took a while for me to cross that bridge. And a lot of the jobs were not always union jobs to be able to qualify for it. I did a lot of free work just to hone my skill. So for me, it took some time, but once I did make it across that finish line, it was really rewarding in a lot of areas. And then the strikes hit. So
yeah,
so now we're just trying to climb back out of that hole.
Yeah. That's that one thing. Yeah, the strikes was, oh man, I don't want to go back to those times. 2000. What was it like? When did we go into the writer's strike? Was it 2023 or something like that? Yeah, it was rough. Well, it was. I feel like where we got to cover like the pros and cons of it is like we was in it at a very good time. Like we could learn the tricks of the trade, how to make our own productions, and then once things kind of slowed down and they kind of started, like you said, started to move out of the Bay Area or just kind of like out of the US in general or in California, we still was able to enjoy those resources, and we still had the knowledge to where even though stuff we're doing is you would consider independent, it's on a very studio type level. Like nothing that we're producing up here is of low quality.
No, not at all. You have award-winning crew members that live and work here in the Bay Area. We have put there are a number of Academy Award artists that live here, that thrive here. That was the genesis for 50-50 Ball. With that kind of talent, you just couldn't go wrong. As long as that you were truthful to the art and truthful to the craft, the support there is phenomenal. And I found that to be true today.
Mm-hmm. When you have like I said, the producers on your team, you have a work relationship with them before. Is there any like specific like productions that you like maybe remember meeting them on, or you kind of just remember like, oh, maybe sometime in the future, like I could see us working together, then that project just happened to be 50-50 Ball?
Well, I can go back to my co-producer, Ted Leonard. My first paid gig was on the film Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith. And I was on a parking lot lockup for the production office. And the call came that Ted needed some assistance in wardrobe fitting. So that was my opportunity to get out of the car and get out of the lockup and start learning what the real paperwork was about. So Ted taught me how to check in background, taught me how much time that they needed that was DJ qualified, that they required to be within their specific fitting situations. So I learned all that through him. And as time has gone on, we've come back together again on shows like 13 Reasons Why. I worked underneath him on a independent film called Freebird, where I was his second, and he was the first AD and producer and unit production manager on that feature. So we have ebbed and flowed throughout my career, and every time that we get together, I have learned something new about the industry that I was able to pass along to some other person. I have my other producer, line producer, Debbie Brubaker. She hired me a lot on a lot of commercials, a lot of shorts, and on the Knife Fight film, which got me once again, like I said, I got me my DGA qualifications or signatures. But Debbie saw something in me that I didn't see, and she pushed until I was able to get it. And and once that happened, things moved along quite easily for me in this industry, especially here in the Bay Area.
Yeah, this one thing that people don't, well, no, people probably do realize, because like there's no real like job interview to get into this industry, or when I sit down and talk to me, this is all relationship based, network based, not necessarily who knows you, but not who you know, but who knows you, sort of situation. Because you kind of like speak to what it takes to maintain these relationships, to be able to have, like I say, like 20 years experience in this business.
And you know what, forming those relationships weren't very easy for me. I've always been a solitary person in a lot of things that I did, but this industry forced me to open up to believe in myself, to be able to take that advice from that individual, to be able to be shown how to do the work. One thing that I can say about this industry is that it forces you to grow up and to face your fears in many, many different ways. And that's what it did for me. So forming those relationships over the last 20 years has been challenging, and it's still ongoing, and every day is hard work.
Mm-hmm. And then, so what are some of you like say you've been on major studio productions, you've been on independent films, TV shows, all this type of stuff. What are some of the pros and cons that you say? We'll start with working on independent films. What are some of the pros and cons that you see as far as being a filmmaker working on these independent films? Because we do have a lot of award-winning filmmakers. Like, I don't know how many times you see a film winning some award at Sundance, and then every person sort of the crew, makeup, whatever it may be, they got some sort of ties and roots to the Bay Area.
Exactly. I've been on quite a few independent shows. I think for me, the independent shows is where you find that camaraderie of family, because it is such a family atmosphere. Everybody knows one another. Everyone knows their strengths and their flaws in a sense. So being designated a job within an indie position is pretty modular. However, when it comes to studio shoots, that's more of a corporate atmosphere, and there's a whole different mindset. In a lot of ways, people are like in any corporate entity, fearful of losing the job. And so people are a lot more tight and stringent on their time, on their person. in order to make sure that their particular avenue is taken care of.
And then now I want to do just a couple Spitfire productions that you've worked on, because me and you have worked on a couple of productions together. But like I said, I've had that experience from like the actor side, or mostly, the extra, being the background person side. You was probably the person that was trying to wrangle me in, or try to, hey, get on over here, stuff like that. So I just want to, kind of share each other's experiences working on these different productions. And then the first one, which I think is really cool, like we got to start off with, was with Fruitvale Station. Because like I said, that was the first film that I was ever in. You was on Fruitvale Station, and you see what happened with Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan. So what was it kind of like being on that production? Did you you could see like, oh, these guys everybody knew that they was going to take off, but could y'all like kind of see like this trajectory?
Oh, we definitely, everyone on the crew definitely saw the chemistry between the two, the dynamic direction that Ryan was giving to Michael, and how he perceived that and played it out. I mean, Oscar Grant's story is a national story. It's tragic in a lot of ways, but they both brought a humbleness to the character and to the story, and truly honored the family in the way it was presented. And it was almost, in a sense, a documentary to where that you can follow Oscar's last few days through that film. There was a lot of love there, a lot of attention to detail, the whole 9 yards. You literally relived this tragic incident. What I found took most from that show was the train station, the actual Fruitvale BART station scenes. It was so realistic. It brought a lot of life and a lot of humbleness to everyone. We were simulating gunshots on the upper deck. I had 2 flat pancakes, and I kept clapping it. But then that was the year they put the shot spotters out. So we would not only have OPD that were there for us, we would always set off the shot spotters and then get the sirens and everything else to come and verify that there wasn't a gun or anything to that on the set. But it was that kind of dynamic. The sound department picked up multiple sirens. Some of that was played in the show, and so that whole environment on that particular night held on to me a lot.
Yeah, that was my very first audition. I remember even going on. That was my first time meeting Nina Henninger. I said when I went to audition, I believe Ryan Coogler was there and all that stuff. So I was just wide-eyed. That was my first time, just straight out of acting school and stuff like that. So all these things that you're talking about going on, I don't know what's going on. I'm just looking at oh wow, a camera. You know what I mean? It's not registering to me at the time that okay, I'm having a conversation with Michael B. Jordan. We're just sitting up here just shooting the shit or whatever. But then it's all like what you see somebody get the sides or whatever, that they start rolling this is way bigger than what I thought it was going to be.
It's a lot bigger.
So that was
a lot bigger.
A lot
technical,
bigger.
The technical side.
Yeah. Yeah. It also made me realize that it's also it's bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times, like I said earlier, you got to put your ego to the side, because coming straight out of acting school, even just being an extra on a film set, sometimes you're just walking around oh, I'm gonna get the most camera time out of any extra here, whatever it may be. But even if I gotta walk in front of this camera to get this camera time, they're gonna see my face. But
that's never the case.
It's never the case. It's never the case. And that's why I was saying that's why I say it was one of the most humbling experiences, because I was all like I said, me thinking I'm gonna be the bigger person, but then seeing oh no, I'm playing a smaller part to just the bigger picture and stuff like that.
Yes.
So
yes,
I take away a lot of great memories from working on Fruitvale Station. And then the second project that I want to do a rapid spitfire on, because I know this had to be hectic for you, because it was a hectic day for me, but working on San Andreas. with the Rock. You know, yeah. Handle it. Yeah, see, handling all those extras and the crazy action scenes and all that.
We yeah, yeah. The biggest day was the AT&T Park at the time was titled. It was named AT&T Park, and the earthquake that went with it. We had about, I believe, 1,500 background on that day. It could have been more. And myself, along with 8 other ADs and PAs, second ADs on set, wrangling everyone, making sure that nobody fell or injured themselves, but also making sure that the choreography was on point, make so that no one would either run into the rock or into each other as they're trying to dodge this falling debris. Um, Along with the twin parachute drop that the Rock's stunt guy did, where they tandem down and live from a plane into the stadium while all this other chaos was going on. It was a big day, and my goodness, rewarding at the end of the day, but still a huge day. I'm exhausted now as remembering it.
Yeah. Like how far in advance do y'all get a notice that you're going to be having to handle so many extras?
Well, so I was a PA on that day, so we got the advance the night before. However, yeah, but the ADs, which was a great, phenomenal department, choreographed that 2 or 3 days in advance. To this PA will take 15, this PA will take 5. This is your group, Lamar. This is your group X, Y, and Z. And then they would choreograph us from behind camera through walkie. So the job was really just to pay attention and listen, and then give your cues on time. I was always been very good at doing that, listening on the walkie. So yeah, from my perspective, I think I did a phenomenal job in making sure that people were safe and sound as they went about their business on set.
Yeah. Well, speaking for one of those people that was in the crowd audience, just running wild with their like a chicken with their head cut off and stuff like that, I'll say it was it was a very fun shoot. So we thank you for that. But like for people who are watching, like they don't realize that like you said it was like what eight team members. How many people was it total handled all the production assistant, the extras?
In the AD department, you have your pardon me. In the AD department, they had at least 3 second ADs, 8 to 12 PAs, and 1,500 background.
Yeah, see, that's for people who's 8 to 12. Like imagine having 8 to 12 babysitters or 8 to 12 teachers, and they all have to control 1,500 high school students. And the reason why I say high school students is because as extras, yeah, we're adults, but you never know what you're gonna get with the crop of 1,500 people. So it's not even trying to manage them like the choreographing and all that stuff. It's like what you say cut, and you got to tell all these extras to go back to hold it, and now you got to make sure that they don't run off or go somewhere. Whatever it may be, they try to run into the Rock's trailer or something.
A film set is exciting, and everyone is a kid at heart. And sometimes one's emotions can get away from them while they're on a film set. Things happen, but then we have the crew and we have the necessary security to shortstop any unnecessary or unwanted adventures.
All right, cool. That's just code for delinquents, people that don't know how to act and stuff like that. It's okay. I was there at one point, but I grew out of it.
While we're on set, we tend to not everybody can handle the truth. So you have to find ways to delegate words to be professional. But sensitive to those needs at the same time.
Yeah. I want to be on camera. It's like, all right, okay, you're on camera. We promise, you're on camera.
You're just way back there.
Yeah, you're just a little out of focus, but trust me, once you zoom in and crop in when it's on streaming, you'll be able to see yourself perfectly. No worries.
Yes. Yeah. So besides Fruitvale and the Rocks film we just spoken about, San Andreas, we've only worked on those two projects film wise?
No, we worked on we did an episode together of what was the Tay Diggs show that was up here? Murder in the First.
Murder in the First, yes.
We did Murder in the First, and then there had been so I had to go back onto your IMDb and look it up, but there's a couple that we did together.
What about that TV show Parenthood? Were you ever part of Parenthood?
Not Parenthood. I did a couple of episodes of 13 Reasons Why. Let me see. I'm going on to your. Oh, you did Blind Spotted, the TV show, right?
Yes, we did.
Which was it? Did you do the first season?
We did. I actually did both seasons. While it was here, as you know, some scenes were filmed in LA. Then they came back up to the town to do their exteriors. So while they did their exteriors, I was part of that crew for exteriors for both seasons, including the finale over at Santa Cruz Beach and Boardwalk.
Okay, so I was the stand-in on the first season. I was the stand-in for Benjamin Turner. And so you was out there. Was you out there when we got caught in that rainstorm?
Yes, sir.
Oh my God.
We were in West Oakland at that time. It was like 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah. And they was ready for it too. They was like, hey, just that you know, rainstorm coming. And it was crazy because it's like literally the second we said cut on the final scene or whatever, people put like the plastic wrap over all the cameras or whatever, and then it just started pouring. Oh my word! Yeah.
We also had a dance scene. Once that storm passed us, we still had that final dance scene. That was we shot that in West Oakland. I forget the name of the street. I believe it was off Peralta, but we had that dance scene with all the guys, like a step dance, right after that storm that night.
Oh no, yeah, because they was doing the tugging, like the pulling it, all that stuff. Yeah. No, I was there. Yeah. That looked cool. Because like in that rain did all that stuff. So that looked cool, but like having to wait out the rainstorm and all that stuff just to get that cool shot. That wasn't fun, but that shot came out really cool.
No. It's never fun to wait, but yes.
Yeah.
After the fact, it was extremely rewarding. And I also AD'd on the feature as well.
Okay, I missed the feature. I don't know what I was doing at that time, but yeah, I missed the feature. But yeah, I was going on to your IMDb. Yeah, those are a couple of the projects that we had worked on together. Besides the commercial, you was just the aide, or I don't know what your position was, but you was my boss on that commercial. Yeah. Yeah, you was my boss for a day. Yeah. Okay.
So and the project was pretty cool. They had a great concept. I think that project went to the corporate website for. I haven't seen it aired as of yet, but it's a new product.
Mm-hmm. So how would you rate my first day as a PA with all your experience? How would you rate that I did?
Oh, bro, you were great. You were phenomenal. You paid attention. You watched yourself, maintained your own safety along with those around you. You followed direction. You didn't give anybody any problems. You was an A1 production assistant.
All right, man. I appreciate it. So before we do wrap up this here episode, man, is there anything else you want to say before we, as far as 50-50 ball goes, or anything you want to let people know where people can follow you at?
Guys, yes, thank you for letting me say, guys, 50-50 ball. We have our Seed&Spark campaign. We need 350 more followers to be able to open up the doors on the 20th nationally, as opposed to just on an invite basis. I still have to hit that 350 number to get that national exposure. So please, please, please hit the click onto the duck in the corner, and let's get it going. Let's get it going. Thank you, buddy, for having me. It's been fun. It's been great. I love talking about myself. So there you go.
Hey, that's what this industry is about. That's what this industry is about, man. So I say you can follow me at Yeah Buddy ENT on all my social medias. If you want to follow the Yeah Buddy podcast on my stand-up comedy and on my other podcasts, go to www.yeahbuddyent.com. Other than that, man, I'll be your host, Buddy Rahming. If this is your first time tuning in, hey, this was a dope ass episode to check out, man. It's all about returning friends. I appreciate all of your support, man, and tuning in and spreading the word about the Yeah Buddy podcast. Man, Lamar, thank you again for tuning in, man. For being a guest, not tuning in, for being a guest, man. I appreciate you. I'll catch y'all on the next episode. I'm out.
Peace.